Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Megan Shannon and I work with Technical Resource Solutions, and I'm very excited to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is selling on Facebook, using social media in general, but generally using social media as a tool in order to get your message out there. So before we get started, if everybody would mute their own lines. I've got most of you muted here, but for those of you who are using a phone to dial in, or if you are using the WebEx web app, then the muting doesn't always work on my side. So it'll help keep all of that background noise to a minimum. So if you'll just go ahead and mute your individual lines. I can see those popping up here. That's excellent. So because everybody is muted, if you have questions as we go, we'll mostly save those towards the end, but you can use the chat box that you see in there, and I'll see those questions pop up. So I'll keep an eye on them. And then if they are of general interest, or if there's anything going wrong, you can't see me, you can't hear me, just let me know and we'll be able to jump right in on those. And to get started here, another thing I want to show you, we're going to go over at a high level kind of all of the different kinds of selling that we do, because there's lots of different businesses, and I recognize some of you who are on the call, and we don't all sell the same types of things, the same types of services. And so we're going to kind of talk about what those different things look like and how you can use the same sets of tools and then implement them differently depending on what your needs are. So direct selling and indirect selling, whether you're selling things that are tangible or intangible, and then even looking at the way that you frame your services, because sometimes services can actually be restructured and you're technically selling content. So there's ways to look at that. And then we'll look at content monetization briefly as well. That is a Facebook specific item. And it applies to probably fewer people, but it's definitely a good way to think about from a brainstorming perspective and looking at what does kind of the next generation look like of how you can really make money using that content and turning your services into that. And then we'll go through some tools and tricks, and we'll actually workshop through setting up a buyable Facebook post. So that's one of the examples that we'll look at here, and we will take a look at how to actually do it. So we'll go through step by step and make that happen. So for those of you who are just joining us, because we've got a couple more that just popped on, I just wanted to remind you all, if you'll keep your phones muted on your end, that'll help us with our background noise. All right, another thing we're going to do today is I'm going to reference quite a few of these resources. So this list of links, instead of sharing them as we go, after we're done with the call, I'm actually going to send you this list of URLs, because these are all things that you can kind of take deeper dives. They're subjects that would apply to some people and not others, or if you want to take a deeper read. I wanted to make sure that we make all of these resources available. So I will follow up via email for all of you who have registered to make sure that you have these links available to you. So if we get started, the first example I want to look at for selling on Facebook is kind of one of the ones that probably applies to the most number of people. It's an indirect selling method, and it's using blog content and using original content to establish credibility, to establish your expertise, and then be able to kind of lead that right into creating those sales leads. So if we pop over here, I'll show you. Here is an example that's actually on our website, on the Technical RS website, and it's blog content, because some of the services that we provide on the technology side include helping people work remotely. So we have an in-house content writer, Madeline, and she actually writes all of our blogs. She writes blogs for all of our clients as well. And she's gone through and she's given really good practical content that's helpful to both clients and non-clients. You have a call to action at the bottom of your blog content. You're actually able to pull people in. One of the other services that really makes sense at this point is building in automation, because buttons can go lots of places. You can direct people to other service pages. You can direct them to a form. In this case, that's what it would bring you to, a contact form. And we have automation built into our system, so it's routed to the right person. Additionally, the other good thing you've got is you're actually building an email list. So if you see up here at the top, we have a subscribe to our blog option. What you're doing when you actually get people to subscribe to your blog is then you're able to go back and send them messages as you have new content that comes out. You offer new services and also newsletters. There's a lot of people who've been sending out these COVID-19 emails, and it's important that you're able to communicate with your clientele. So blogs are one of the most general formats for building that expertise, again, bringing content in and creating leads. So it's an indirect selling method, but it's definitely one that most companies are able to use. Another example are gift certificates. So right now, since we can't always be in person and can't be selling our services live, the ability to help small businesses by purchasing gift certificates now for a future service is definitely something, I mean, you see it on Facebook, everybody wants to support each other, and this is a great way to do this. Now, it is selling an intangible, so this does give you the option to allow people to download a PDF that they can then print and give as a gift, or they can send as an email. This is one of our clients, Healing Palms. It's a massage therapy, and she's actually doing a big push right now for Mother's Day, for Father's Day, and making sure that people are got self-care options, because when all of the stress of this is over, everyone's probably going to need a massage. So we can see here, we pop over to her website, that there's just a drop down right here at the bottom. You can actually make these purchases, and these links bring you directly to PayPal. So that is integrated, and that is not a difficult thing to do. You'd be surprised. We're going to look at a different form of PayPal button here, but this is another option. If you have a business PayPal account, you have merchant services, they make it pretty simple to do. And we here at TRS, we also do website builds. We're more than happy to help get these types of things directly integrated to your website so these purchases are easy to make. Then by sharing this over to Facebook, you've got that option where people can get to this page directly and make these purchases quickly and easily. The next one we're going to look at, this is the direct PayPal linking. So this is what we're actually going to workshop once we get through the examples. This is taking all the clicks out of it. It doesn't require having a website at all, and it allows people to make those purchases directly. So in this example, this is actually selling an intangible content piece. So if you think about the services that you provide today, there's one way to do it would be, of course, selling that gift certificate. But then you can also turn around your content. And in some cases, you can build your services into a content item that people are purchasing directly. One of the links that I'm going to send you around creating these PayPal accounts and creating these types of links is around the seller services and the seller protections. Because when you're selling a physical item, PayPal has the ability for both the buyers and the sellers to be protected to make sure you're getting the item that you actually purchased. One of the things that we want to consider when we're selling an intangible is you want to make sure that you're creating a paper trail or a digital paper trail of sorts to make sure that you can prove that you've actually provided the service, you've actually provided the piece of content that the person that was buying it expected to get. So it's important to make sure that you understand those distinctions. So we'll take a deeper dive into this particular example, and we're actually going to recreate this entire post as our example. Then our fourth example here is actually shopping on Facebook. And this screenshot you see here, this is a direct link. We'll actually pop over and take a look at it. This is another one of our clients at Anderson Aesthetics. So they actually sell their physical products online. So this is an option when you're on your Facebook page. If you're an admin, this tab on the left side here, you can see it says shop. This works if you're selling a physical product. One of the links I'm going to send you after the session is a link to what you can't sell on Facebook. What you can't do is pop up a little item here and sell any service directly through the Facebook e-commerce tool. And that's an important thing to notice because you don't want to get your page blocked on Facebook. Not a great way to do it. But if you do sell any physical products, this allows people to shop directly in Facebook. They create they're creating that traffic directly to your page, but then they don't have to leave Facebook to purchase the item. The back end of it, there's multiple ways to do that. We won't dive into this one as deeply because we really want to focus on service items right now. But the shop items, you can have Shopify on the back end, other e-commerce platforms, and there are built-in e-commerce components directly within Facebook as well. So if you don't necessarily, if you don't need an entire website, but you do sell a few items here and there, this is a great way to do that. But again, you do have to have a physical item in order for this to work. And then the last example here is around content monetization. Now I'll send you, actually Facebook has a blueprint course that they have directly in their e-learning tool to show you how to monetize video and to monetize your actual page. So if you have a lot of video content and you have a lot of views, like to the tune of 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 views of at least 30 seconds, then you start to move into the areas where you qualify, where your videos can actually have the interstitial ads built in. So if you've ever watched, I know some of my favorites are the ones where people make the cake, but they're going really fast. If you can get people to watch a minute into your video over and over again, then they can pop a 7-second video in the middle, and you can make pretty serious money doing that. On the other side here with your page monetization, this is for influencers. This is for maybe, it's an alternative to Twitch streamers or to Patreon, in that you're creating exclusive content for a subset of people who are willing to pay a subscription fee, and they're called supporters on Facebook. So this is by invite only. And so once you hit a certain threshold of number of followers and a certain level of engagement, that's when Facebook kind of pulls you into the fold. So it's a completely different way to look at selling online, but it's really where we're headed. So if you have a business that is then very practical, it's very hands-on, it's very person to person, now's the time to say, well, I've been doing this for 20 years, for 30 years, and start to think about, how do I monetize the knowledge that I have? How do I share that information in a way that's really helpful? Page monetization is an interesting way to turn around the types of knowledge that you have and the types of way that you've maybe always run your business, and look at a way to do it moving forward. The more that we're social distancing and the more time that we're spending apart and in remote settings, being able to put your knowledge online is going to be a different way about thinking about things. But strategizing through that, more than happy to help you guys with that. So if you guys want to get in touch with us, we look at things from all the spectrum through all of these examples. Whether you have services that you want to sell directly, you want to be able to offer gift cards and gift certificates directly on your website, or if you even need help just posting on social, getting that content, getting the followers, and building the way to pull people in. We do all of that stuff here at TRS, so we're happy to help you with that. One thing we want to go through today is we want to go through some tools and tricks, and I want to show you guys how you can set up a Facebook post today where you could actually sell directly using the PayPal integration. So again, like we referenced earlier, you cannot sell, there we go, you cannot sell services directly on Facebook. And that is a really important thing to know, because PayPal does allow you to sell these intangible items. So I'm gonna log back in here, and we're gonna recreate that post that we saw for Teacher Abby. Now this is an online dashboard, and Abigail actually teaches courses online all the time. But in order for us to create a one-off post where people can buy a specific course, we're gonna use one of PayPal's tools. Now, if you don't, I'll take a pause here. If you don't already have a PayPal business account, that is one thing you'll need to set up. That'll be in your list of links that I provide at the end. And it'll actually have the ways that you go through and you set up things that the specific PayPal business account. You'll need things like tax information, your physical address, and a handful of other things. So that's one of the things that's in that setup document specifically, is everything you need to get that set up. So once we have our business account and we're logged in here, up at the top under Tools, we're going to drop down to All Tools. And then we're going to go to PayPal Buttons. And there's a button right here called Sell on Social. You guys are going to be amazed at just how easy this particular piece is. So you can see here we actually have that product that we have previously posted, And we're just going to recreate it again as an example. So we'll click Add Product, and we're going to start at the top. We're going to add a photo. Now, the important thing with your photo is this is the case whether we're talking about sharing on Facebook, or in this case is sharing on using the PayPal integration. Is anytime that you are sharing a link directly over to Facebook, the size of your image should be 1200 wide by 628 tall. And that'll be one of the notes I can provide you as well. But that's going to be the default size. And you can see this is another example here. This is a share graphic that's the same. It's 1200 by 628. And that's going to fill the screen in the most pleasing looking way anytime you're doing a direct link share on Facebook. So we're going to click this picture, have that one uploaded. And then we're going to include the name here. This is the Goldberg online course. Now in the product description, I'm actually gonna, I didn't grab that one. We'll go back to here. And we'll just put the test text. I didn't copy that one over. And then we'll put our price at $35. Now in this case, because we're selling an intangible, we're gonna offer free shipping. And on the back end, when you see this come through, there's a specific way to mark things as shipped or as the service has been rendered or delivered. So there's a way to do that on the back end. So in this case, we're going to do free shipping, and we're going to hit create. That's it. That's all we have to do to create the basics of the page. So when we click get link, it's going to give us a short link, and we're going to pop over here to Facebook. And we're actually, we're in the admin section. We're going to go to publishing tools here at the top. And we're going to click create post. So the first thing we'll do is we'll drop that link in, and it's automatically going to pull in it should have automatically filled in the image, the share image. It might take a moment for that to render. So actually I'll go back and just try and have that go again. If not, what we'll do is we will actually pop back. So we're going to go here, we're going to click return to dashboard, and I'm actually going to just pop in here and hit edit. We'll take a look at the one that we already built out. Most recent, here we go. Here's the one that's already been completed. So you can see here we've got a product description. We have our product name at the top and our price. We've chosen free shipping. We'll hit done. And now we'll click get link. We'll try it this way instead. So when we pop in here, we will put the PayPal link in first. Now it's rendering our image. So you can see this image fits correctly because it's the correct dimensions. And you can see the description and the title here. That's exactly what we popped in on the other screen. Now I have saved the text from the post itself, pre-wrote that. So what we'll do is we'll come right back in here. We can get rid of the original link, override it, and now we have our content. And then we'll click post. It's literally as easy as that. We'll refresh the page to view our post. Load up here, and there's our post. So now if I click directly on it, it's going to bring us to our PayPal page, which we just built. And there's the information that we made. So by clicking buy now, it will automatically make the purchase. Now, if you've ever sold something on PayPal before, you know that as the buyer and as the seller, you're going to get the receipt, and it's going to show exactly what you've purchased. Now, to take this a step further, because we are delivering an intangible, I'm going to show you guys how to set up an automation so that way when the buy now button and the sale is completed, will automatically send an email to your buyer. And to do that, we're going to use Zapier. If you don't have a Zapier account, this is a free service for any single step zaps. What we're going to do is we're going to search and we're going to say we would like to connect PayPal. And then on this other side, we're going to you can choose Office 365 or you can choose G Suite. In this case, we're going to choose G Suite. Now, for teacher Abby, she actually has G Suite here, and she has the email address learn@teacherabby.com. Now, one recommendation we do like to make as a technology company is we definitely believe in using a named URL. So in this case, actually using a teacherabby.com email address. Now that's important because it's fine to have teacherabby@gmail.com, but there's a certain level of professionalism that's associated with using a proper email address. So whether you have Office 365 or you have G Suite, both of those services are places that we can redirect, and we can actually have them not redirect so much as they can be named as your website. So that's an important service. And it's not even an expensive service. It's paid for on a monthly basis. It's a very simple thing to do, something we're more than happy to get implemented for you. In this case, we're going to choose Gmail to make this connection. Now, under our trigger, we're going to say we want to know that every time there's a successful sale, we want to send an email. We're going to click Use Zap, and we're going to build it out. So the first thing we'll do under Choose App and Event, we're going to choose PayPal as our event, successful sale. The next thing it's going to do is it's going to show you what your webhook is. Now, don't be startled. This is really much simpler than it looks. We're going to copy this here. And down here, there's a little link that says visit your PayPal IPN settings. Now, IPN is your instant payment notification. And that does, it's going to say on the back end, it gives PayPal the ability to send the notification. So when you come in for the first time, you'll click Choose IPN Settings. You'll paste your notification URL here that Zapier just gave us. And we'll click that we want to receive IPN messages. That will enable the service, and we'll hit Save. And that's it. That's how we've connected it. So now we'll come back to our edit steps. We'll hit Continue. And we'll hit Test and Continue. Now, what Zapier does then is it pulls in sample data as if it was making that purchase in order to finish that step out. So then the next thing is we're going to configure on the G Suite side. So we've already chose our app of Gmail and the action of send email. As the next step, we're going to allow Zapier to connect to Gmail. In this case, I have quite a few, so we're going to connect to the learn@teacherabby.com and allow this connection to be made. Now you can see here, Gmail is a secure partner with Zapier, so you can feel comfortable making this connection, and you can always revoke that access if you need to. The same thing holds true for Office 365 accounts. We'll hit Continue, and now we're going to build out our email. So as far as who we want to send this to, we're going to pull in the payer's email that they provided when they were signing up to make the purchase. We're going to copy ourselves on this one so we can see that the email has come through. Teacher. Now there's also an option to blind copy yourself. So if you don't want the payer to have you copied, that's okay. So if you need it to go to a personal email, or if you need somebody else to see it, but you don't necessarily want your payer to reply to that person, say your accounting department or your sales team or your management staff, using blind copy in that case would be a good choice. Then when we come down here from the choose value, we're going to have it come from the Teacher Abby email address. As far as the name, I like to have the name come from the actual person, so that way I see the name of, I'm sorry, I want this to come from Teacher Abby. I'm swapping this out. Then from a subject perspective, we're actually going to pull in the name to personalize this email. So we're going to say, thank you for your purchase. And then we're going to pull in their first name like that. Next, we have a choice of we can just type in some text, very simple plain text, or we can use HTML to make the actual email that comes through a little more involved. And I've already got a piece of HTML here. Because we're selling an online course in this case, we want to be able to send the registration link directly. So we'll paste this in, and you can see here that we've created this hyperlink to make sure that they know when they click here, it'll bring them to that hyperlink. Now, this is not a necessary step, but it is It is a good option if you need a little bit more advanced capabilities when you're replying to your client. Another thing to consider is this is a very simple version of automation, is using a simple Zapier step. There are much more complex tools that can create entire workflows associated with purchases and clicks that are made from your website. So this is a very scaled down, watered down version of a much more broader and much more robust option that marketing automation has across the board. There's lots of tools. We use one in-house that we're fond of, but it can build much more complex emails and can build branching decision trees and have more choices. But this is the most simple way to do this step. So then there's also an option for attachments. So if you have if you're standardizing the same download each time, if you were selling a piece of content, a PDF, for example, if you're a musician and you were selling a song or an album, you could put an actual attachment direct to the email. Now, most people are less likely to open an attachment to an email, only because people don't want to get a virus these days. You don't want to, you're a little wary about downloads. But by going to a URL that has an SSL certificate on it, most people will feel more comfortable at that point. So creating a link is also a good choice. Next, we'll hit continue. And then it's going to pull in our information, and we'll do a test and continue. Now, I found that when I build these out, sometimes it kicks out the email because it's using a test at Zapier email address. It doesn't always register, but in some cases, it requires a refresh on the page. In this case, it went right through, and you can see here, thank you for your purchase test. Yes, to see here, here's where it actually kicked out, but here's the one where it copied us on it. And you can see our link works because we built in that HTML here directly into the email. So when we're clicking through to here, then it's going to give us the option to register for that course. So if we come back here, the Zap is ready. We're going to turn that Zap on. And now the entire process from start to finish is complete. So when we're back on our Teacher Abby page, if we hit purchase here, we work our way through it. We'll go through the process. We'll click buy now. Buy with PayPal. It's going to bring me directly to a very recognizable PayPal screen. So this is the fun of it, is that there's a lot of people who are very comfortable at this point with using PayPal. It's a very common tool. So I'll be able to log in to use my PayPal, choose my bank information, and pay. And the process is now complete. So if I return to the merchant, it should bring me directly back to this page. We're good to go. So when we look back here, it should send us another one through here in a moment to show us that same process has worked its way through. The email will follow the same steps. So that is from start to finish. That is how this process works of creating a direct, clickable, individualized post. Now, a good thing about this is that if you wanted to offer a short-term service, if you wanted to run a special for Mother's Day, you wanted to sell a very specific version of an item, and you want to have a unique picture each time, this is a great way to spin those up quickly and easily. When you're on PayPal, what you can do is when we click here, we click to, we'll log back in here. It gives us the, one second, we'll go back to, we're on the correct account here. So when you come back into this, I want to show you one other place that you can look and see the dashboard of all of your buttons, because you can activate and deactivate them as you need them. Right here on the very front of the page, you see that there's this where it says customize. You can actually add the sell on social button directly to this front page, especially if it's something you find that you're doing pretty often. You can integrate it directly, so that way it is always available to you. Get that to pop through. And you can see it's right here. So this makes it even easier. We can just add a picture, list what we're selling and the price, and then we're good to go, and that pops right in. And if you click these three dots at the top right, there's an option to go to the sections where all the listings were. So there we go. So manage listings here will bring us back to our list of buttons that we were looking at here. So these can be deactivated and deleted here. You can get the share link back if you needed to reference back to that again. If you needed to just edit the existing item, didn't need to create it from scratch, that's another option as well. So we have now covered all of the content that we originally had on our list. If anybody has any questions about things that we've covered so far, if you want to pop them into the chat box, I'll keep an eye out here for a few minutes. If you have any specific questions that you don't necessarily need discussed in front of the whole group, that's great too. You can pop them into the message, or you can also reply to the invitation email that you received, and that'll come to our marketing team directly, so we can get back with you on that. I'll come back up here. This is again the list of links that we'll be providing in response to your registration email. And these are all things that I have found incredibly helpful as you kind of take a deeper dive, as you find yourself in this new normal and you're finding that marketing is more difficult than you'd like it to be, or if you need technology to work for you, that's what we do. So that is our slogan, and that is truly our mantra, is that we want technology to work for you in whatever form that takes. So if you have questions, you have general questions, if you need something to work, chances are we can make it happen. So whether it's marketing, whether it's getting your laptops up and running, whether it's working with a remote workforce and making sure that people are able to connect safely and consistently, all of these are services that we're more than happy to provide. So you can reach out about any of those. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you guys have a great day.